Thank you for joining us for our poster session. This is Making K-8 Computer Science Instruction More Inclusive, Supporting the Application of Universal Design for Learning in CS Lesson Design and Instruction. This poster is a collaboration between Cornell Tech and the University of Florida, and the authors are Meg Ray, Maya Israel, Brittany Kessler, and Jessica Williams. So the context for our research is that as computer science education becomes more prevalent as a required or regular course in K-12 schools, more students with disabilities are receiving instruction in computer science, which is a great thing. We have over 7 million students with disabilities in our US public school system, and most of them are taught alongside their peers. So we are reaching students with disabilities with computer science instruction. The problem is that there isn't very much guidance that exists for teachers in how to support these students as they learn CS.
So our study actually focuses on instructional coaches as a way to support the teachers working with students with disabilities. The purpose was to investigate teachers' comfort in not only teaching CS in general, but specifically to students with disabilities, as well as how CS coaches could provide that support to the teachers. We had 4 broad research areas, one related to teachers' confidence in supporting students with disabilities in computer science education. The next one was about the extent to which instructional coaching can influence teacher confidence in teaching computer science to students with disabilities. We also wanted to know how familiar teachers were in using the Universal Design for Learning framework within the context of computer science education, because we know that Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, is an instructional approach that's designed to support all learners. And lastly, we wanted to know more about the experiences of the CS instructional coaches and how they were addressing inclusion and UDL within their instructional practice. So I mentioned a moment ago the Universal Design for Learning framework. And essentially, our approach is to use this framework because it was designed to be used in inclusive settings with a wide range of learners. It's about flexible instructional strategies that meets the needs of all learners through 3 primary areas. The first is the why of learning. So how do we engage learners in computer science education, knowing that they're coming into classrooms with different motivations and backgrounds? It's also the what of learning. How can we represent information to students in multiple ways so that they can access it? And also the how of learning. So how can students demonstrate their understanding in ways that leverages their strengths? And so in this particular study, we had 66 teachers across 2 schools. Most of whom were general education teachers, but we also had special education teachers, school-based coaches, gifted and talented teachers, and English as a second language teachers. And we had 4 computer science instructional coaches that we worked with.
So the coaching model used is called content coaching, and the coaches took a systems-based approach to supporting the entire school. They did co-planning with teachers. The coaches also then would observe teaching or even co-teach with the teacher, and then they would meet for reflection and feedback. The coaches also offered supplemental professional development in computer science at the schools where they worked.
We had a mixed methods approach, both quantitative and qualitative analysis for both the teacher pre and post surveys, as well as the focus group with instructional coaches. So we had both open-ended and forced response questions. Forced response questions were things like, I feel confident teaching computer science to students with disabilities on a Likert scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And open-ended questions were things such as, what instructional strategies support students with disabilities in computer science education? Or how do you define universal design for learning? And then with the instructional coaches, we had a semi-structured interview protocol where we asked them questions about universal design for learning, inclusive practices, and their priorities. And then we used a constant comparative analysis of those qualitative data. Our quantitative results ended up with a bit of a mixed bag. We saw increased confidence in teaching CS, so teachers generally felt more comfortable about teaching computer science, and they had increased confidence in teaching computer science to students with disabilities. However, when we looked at their understanding of how to implement universal design for learning in the context of computer science, we did not see significant gains. In fact, it started off with pretty low understanding, and at the end of the study, we still had pretty low understanding. Uh, with that said, though, we wanted to see what factors predict teachers' confidence in teaching students with disabilities computer science. And here we saw that understanding UDL in the context of computer science was one of the predictive factors. So teachers who knew how to implement UDL in computer science and in computer science education felt more comfortable in meeting the needs of students with disabilities. So although we didn't see high gains, those that did have high confidence in UDL felt more comfortable in teaching students with disabilities. Along with two other factors, number of years that they taught computer science and their general confidence in teaching computer science. When it came to the strategies that the teachers spoke about, there were three main areas. Open exploratory projects. They thought that these types of activities, not just for students with disabilities, but in particular, they saw them as personally relevant and motivating. They saw the need for visual supports. So thinking about different ways of representing information and having visuals and not just vocabulary and language, spoken language they saw as important, and also offering step-by-step instruction and other explicit instruction approaches. Now, the coaches had similar types of findings, but they were kind of at a higher level. They spoke about a commitment to equity in general and students with disabilities within a larger equity conversation. They also spent a lot of time discussing the importance of teacher agency. So teachers feeling empowered and having the skills to actually enact equitable computer science in their classroom, having the tools and actually moving forward with doing so. And how do they support teachers in having that agency? And then they spoke about universal design for learning. And here, interestingly, we had a parallel between what happened with the teacher responses and the coaches' responses. The coaches were able to describe what universal design for learning was. They discussed the importance of universal design for learning, but then they also talked about challenges they had with supporting teachers and implementing universal design for learning. And so it was unsurprising to see the teacher responses because the coaches were uneasy with UDL and indicated the need for additional support and professional learning in this area.
So, given those findings, we have next steps that are both practice steps and research steps. So, at Cornell Tech, we're moving forward with supporting coaches and learning how to do that. We ran a professional learning community of coaches, and that was part of the next phase of our research that we looked at that PLC. And then also, Cornell Tech has released a CS coaching card deck that is available digitally on our site. And finally, you are welcome to join the new CSTA community page on CS Coaching, where we'll be continuing that conversation as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Goodbye.